But I've got some of my best friends with me here today. These are guys from my team, and Ling, who's not a guy.
Oh.
Jester, Ling,
I thought it was going like some of my best friends
Imran.
and healing.
Well, people from the team, the company players, yes. Who we started
And
therapy with, and who we'll finish this with. Although we'll come back again in some form, but we'll talk about it later. So yeah, as everyone knows, circuit breaker is done. We are in phase God knows what now. There's a general election coming up. All kinds of fun things. Soon life will go on, or not if you're dead. For those who are remaining, one of the things that I've been concerned about as I enter the second, third of my life, if I'm optimistic or not, is happiness. So I, just as a token kind of decoration, I stuck that face up there. And I talked to these guys as we entered quarantine just to figure out how you stay happy because I could feel my own sanity like slowly kind of slip away. So yeah, and I had a chat with them, and they had their own particular strategies. They're all very different people. It was quite fascinating hearing them talk about their happiness in such vastly different ways. So some of them would talk about like newly popular philosophies like Stoicism. Others would talk about how just like happy helping people, which was quite alien to me. I'm kidding. I like helping people, but maybe not as much as that guy. This guy. Or some would journal, and others would say like, well, this guy in particular, he said I would not do something that could potentially turn up if I
oh
were
yes.
elected, which was very heavily reminded of last week. For our friend
During the Ivan Lim,
yeah,
Ivan Lim campaign, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Imran.
he did the exact opposite of that, and well, you saw what happened. You gave someone a chance to run for parliament, which is awesome.
Which is like helping other people
Yes.
in your own way.
Kapil should be out to retain his. I'm sure he's good at his job. I am apparently super quiet. This is generally true. Let me see what I can do about that. Okay. I hope this is better. Maybe. Who knows? Well, if I'm not louder right now, friends on Twitch, let me know and I'll make it work. Cool. So today, happiness. Yeah. How are you guys doing via happiness right now?
Yeah, still.
I'm having a bad day,
Oh,
but that's
oh
okay.
no.
Oh no, what's going on?
That's why it was surprising, I guess, that we were talking about this. I'm like, oh, Yi from a month ago is someone I don't know anymore.
Really? That much?
Man,
I mean, you go through moments, right, in your life, so.
you do. And I think part of the reason I wanted to talk to you guys was to figure out how we get those moments, right? So it's very hard to say, oh, let's. Still not loud. Give me 1 second. Why don't you guys chat among yourselves while I poke at these things?
But Imran, what inside info do you have?
About what?
Apparently candidates.
I'll be honest, I don't remember what I told Kim all those weeks ago. I don't even remember what happened all those weeks ago.
You said it in the chat, that's the thing. You said it in text.
Did I?
You were talking about being happy in text and I missed it?
What would you say today? That's what matters, right? What would you say today if you had this conversation today with Kim?
Yeah, it's about living in the moment, right? We want to, the past is in the past. We can't do anything about that. So let's look forward. I think I said something like that actually to Kim. Like I always try to look forward.
No, you clearly said something like, I wouldn't do something. I would only do things that can't be held against me if I was running for president or something. Something very specific.
You were quoted as saying this multiple times. Yes, that's
Yes,
true.
but
Whether
I think
that was a real quote or an Einstein quote, no one knows.
I think that's where we were talking about like what things would you say live on stream during like improv therapy. It was like, what things would you say? I was like, I would not say things that would be like could be used against me.
Yeah.
So I would say that's actually quite accurate because obviously if we were having
It's those vendors.
Sorry. Yes, I got. I was
Very
halfway
aware of
through.
his visa. That's why
You know,
He is. He
the
is.
person who is giving us the feedback on Twitch is my boss. Hi, Stu.
Oh.
Man,
Hello.
I am
Is there
screwing up
anything
this.
you want to admit right now, Jester, maybe?
Oh, cool.
So very happy.
No, I was not. The "don't be a dick" line is not like about happiness. It's about like being something that you say being used against you later.
Hmm.
Is that lately that people are afraid? It's like, oh, what am I gonna do in the internet? And if I do something in the internet, it's gonna haunt me 7 years from now. Just be nice now on the internet. It's fine.
Sorry, I'm receiving a message that apparently now everyone can hear Kim, but none of us.
Is Kim talking?
Hi, Kim.
So they can hear his mouse click. Apparently, that's what.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna say something just
Yes,
real quick,
it works.
mostly to test the mic, and then I'm gonna
Hi,
go
Kim.
away.
Hi, Kim, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
We'll never know.
Not.
Who knows? Let's just continue. I like how Adi was supposed to be the sixth person in this. He arrived an hour earlier.
Where did he go?
And like
God
10
damn.
minutes, Adi's still not here.
Taking a nap, probably.
I'm sure he's happy wherever he is.
That is very true. I hope he's happy.
Yeah. We won't know what his secret for happiness is, but we'll hope he's happy.
Just real quick, most. Wow, I am super loud.
I think acceptance is the first step. You know?
I think we're having two podcasts at the same time here. There's the four of us, and there is Kimi having his own like separate conversation with himself. So you're getting two shows for the price of one, guys. It's amazing.
It really is.
My thing's still playing.
I can bring my microphone closer and I can speak closer to the microphone if that helps.
Well, that is very ASMR.
Very
Can you do
ASMR.
some ASMR?
It's quite
Srivastava.
ASMR. Rub your beard against the mic.
Tzatziki, souvlaki.
That's not the sound of his beard rubbing against the mic. I hope.
You have to do it while like talking on both sides of the mic so that it arrives on our right ear and left ear, etc.
Souvlaki, tzatziki.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, it's getting a bit hot in here.
So there is a game that I saw online where basically those guys are trying to figure out if ASMR videos exist or not. So like for instance, ASMR plus someone setting you a swimming pool. Is there a video on YouTube of someone setting you a swimming pool in an ASMR way, right? And you have to figure out if it's real or not, and that's how you score points. And so for your information, it does exist. There is a video of a guy telling you about swimming pools.
Yeah, I'm getting wet just imagining.
I know.
There's a lot of strange ASMR videos out there. Apparently there's one where a girl pretends to be this nun, I think, during the what is it, like an epidemic?
Okay.
Name one epidemic, I don't know which one. So
COVID-19?
No, like really long ago, and it had a lot of victims.
Black Plague.
The plague?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. The plague.
Just gonna test this
Yeah.
out again. Hi, my name is Kim.
Yes, Kim, we can hear you.
I mean, you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Just talking about the plague.
Yeah, we were supposed to be discussing happiness, and now we moved on to the.
Plague, yeah. Well,
awesome. Thanks, friends on Twitch, and everyone for putting up with my shit. I heard snatches of ASMR in the pool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was correct.
There's a girl that ASMR is the black plague into your ear.
nice.
You know.
Well,
That didn't
that's
really
an
help my
experience.
comprehension.
ASMR, the Black Plague into your ear.
She'll just be like, she'll be dressed like a nun and she'll hold these rosary and she'll just be like, oh no, you're dead.
I don't.
Sounds like
I don't
an
know if I
improv
understand.
game, you know? Sounds like an improv game, honestly, that went bad and she was like, that's a great idea.
Maybe, yeah.
There's a lot of
Maybe
games.
that's
Yeah.
I can only imagine what the YouTube algorithm serves up in your feed, Ling. It must be just such a wide variety of interesting videos.
Yeah.
Most
Maybe we
of
should
mine
do this.
are
We should
yoga.
all show like our YouTube homepage, just out of curiosity.
Oh no, I think I'm good. I'm very good.
I'm okay. You don't need to see that.
Is that something that would not get you elected president, Kim, if you were to show this homepage?
I think there are many things that would not get me elected president. This is not really on the top 10 of that list.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, good
Yeah.
enough, I guess.
Maybe too boring. I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks for putting up with my stuff. You guys have I see sort of wandered off on a fun tangent, which is great. So yeah, so of the main things that I heard from you guys when you were talking to me, so I think I've listed out the main ones. So I think Daniel, he was talking a little bit about learning and stoicism as his main approaches. Jester enjoys helping people, which I think is pretty evident from his day-to-day behavior, which is awesome. Yeah. I think Ling, you at the time you didn't necessarily seem that happy, so it's not necessarily that you are much less happy today. It's just maybe today is just particularly bad. I don't know. I'm not actually a therapist, so I can't tell or even assess that.
That's sad.
But
Okay.
I mean, just to remind you of a couple of things that you talked about, is that you were saying that journaling seemed to help you quite a bit at the time. You mentioned that there was a life coach who you talked to for a bit, who gave you some advice, and that seemed to help you out. And that also there's an awareness of your spirituality, for example, with your tarot practice, or awareness of your overthinking habit. Apparently, is something that you said. Yeah,
So wise.
that's what you said. You can't say that.
She's
I think
commenting on herself.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's.
No, I don't know.
Why? Would you disagree, Kim?
No, it just seems like me saying, "Oh, Kim is handsome."
You are very handsome, Kim.
I see, coming from
Yeah,
you is fine,
yeah.
but coming from me is a bit,
Sometimes I think it's good
What's
to
this?
have.
Oh, no, that's not a call. Never mind.
I was just saying sometimes I think it's good to just make self-praising statements in public, and then if no one, has a problem with it, then that just becomes fact, basically.
So marketing, but weird, like personal branding, but blatant. I mean, that's what Facebook is like, right? You just go out there like, I'm woke, and people are like, yeah or no.
So
That's
actually,
all bragging.
No, I think right nowadays. Anything you claim on Facebook, people do not believe.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, the rest of you seem quite cheerful.
Well, again, it's Friday.
Oh yeah.
It is.
It's Friday.
So, like.
Is that good? I've forgotten what Fridays mean anymore.
Yeah, it is, because it's like trying in the circuit breaker when you're trying to have like a sense of like, okay, what the fuck is it that I'm doing in the day-to-day life? Like trying to have a sense of like, oh, this is the weekend. I'm supposed to like not work today. I know that I'm in the same place where I was working yesterday, but I actually need to not work because. So yes, I'm still the people like me who are still working from home. I feel it's a
Okay, right.
important distinction. It's like, yeah, it's Friday. I don't have to work tomorrow.
Is your boss watching this?
Yes, he is.
Cool, awesome. Good. It's good to have work-life balance. I guess my employee is also watching this, so that's cool. Apparently, he posted about being thankful for being employed. I had thoughts, but probably.
Don't destroy the dream.
I'm not destroying.
If he's thankful, that's his thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm employed. Am I? I don't know. It's so
You're
weird.
self-employed.
Self-employed, yeah. Why would he not be happy? That's what I don't get. Why would he
Who?
not be grateful?
Miguel?
Your employee, yes. I mean, life could be worse, right?
Yes.
No.
Probably. It could always be worse.
It could always be worse, yeah.
We did.
Probably better.
Man, this has gone off the rails a little bit. That's cool. We'll play it by ear. Bhavani says hi. Also, your boss says don't fucking work tomorrow.
See,
You have a good boss.
I think yes, he's very nice, and I think he's also like saying that to everybody else. Like, don't fucking work tomorrow. Like, Kim, Ling, Imran, Daniel, don't work tomorrow.
Oh well, I have to work because there's mold I need to go and wipe up, but that's slightly different.
A mole?
Mold? Yeah, there's mold on the
Oh,
carpet.
mold.
There was
I
mold
see.
that kind of took up residence in the carpet at the improv studio. Don't worry,
Ah, yeah.
listeners, it's clean now, mostly. I'm just going back to check tomorrow.
You need help though?
Probably not. I mean, if I smell it and it's there, then I'll probably need to get a professional. If I smell it and it's not there, then I'll be all good.
Yay.
Okay. I mean, if we can help, it's not like I have much to do tomorrow. I'm happy to come down.
I'm not.
Cool.
okay.
Cool. Understood. I see you.
It's 1 hour today, and that's it. I'll see you guys next week. That's
Thanks, Imran.
So
We miss you too.
So I get one of the other things that when you guys, so what I actually really got from these conversations with all of you is just a variety of different approaches. I also understood you more as people, which was great. It was an unintended but really fun side effect. And so how different it could be, because personally I'm a very self-absorbed kind of guy, as you can tell from all the times I'm interrupting you guys and saying, let's get back to what I wanted to talk about. And so, you know, in my own little world, I look at how I do things and my thoughts that I have, and I'm like, these are the thoughts of existence. And understanding how you guys ticked was super helpful. For example, say when Jester, he said, oh, I like helping people, and I started thinking about it. Well, he walks the walk, you know. What's the other one? Talk the talk? Yeah, that's the one.
But again, he talks the talk and walks the walk. Very two different.
Yeah, English. But yeah, so he does it and he demonstrates that behavior, and which is awesome. Not that I'm saying that Daniel doesn't demonstrate stoic behavior. It's hard to see, I guess. It doesn't go
I didn't say stoicism was my entire philosophy.
True. No, you had a bunch of other things. Yours was one of the more complicated ones, and my notes are very unreadable. But
sorry.
No, but it was helpful because also understanding, like, say for example, your approach to learning, or the approach to the process of getting things done. I think one of the key things that you seem to have repeated a couple of times was the satisfaction in the journey rather than the goal itself, which was, I think, repeated across I think Ling mentioned it, but in a very different way, more like, I reached my goal and I'm unhappy, which is not the same, I think.
Did I say that?
You did. You said something about how you looked back on the goals you'd set and then you'd achieved them, but you didn't seem happier to yourself.
Yeah. It's a classic failure pattern where you reach your goal and you feel like, oh well, maybe I reached it because it just wasn't tough enough and I could have done better.
Yeah, I think the main thing that I got from our conversation at the end, like in the last 5 minutes, was be kind to yourself. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take that.
There are different paths to happiness, right? Everyone has their own everyone has their own experience of life, right? For so many different reasons, from where you were born, to your parents, to so many other things that you control or you don't control. So at the end of the day, the way you find happiness is different for everyone, and that's also what we need to respect, right? That's what's the problem in society, and sometimes that we don't accept that some people are happy for other reason than we are, and we try to impose them our way of happiness, and or our way of seeing religion. No, my God is love. If you don't believe in my God of love, I will kill you. That's a problem that we tend to have sometimes. So yeah, many different ways of getting there.
I'm still working on that. I think in one of my secondary school WhatsApp chats, I got pretty pissed at I'm not sure if friend is the right word. I mean, we barely spoke even in school, but yeah, it's just, you know, it can I guess it's election season, and then emotions can run pretty high. So yeah, something to keep in mind. I think that people approach life differently, which, you know, when you're as self-absorbed as I am, it can be easy to forget. Someone else mentioned the goals thing. I think it was Imran who didn't talk about goals specifically. Well, what you did say was that you are now at a different stage of life than earlier, and it struck me. Like you said, I think you're my age, and you said that you're no longer this callow. Okay, I'm paraphrasing quite badly, but whatever. You're no longer this callow like youth with no achievements. Well, you have things that you've done. You have experience. You have skills. You have. You're no longer from a position of weakness. You know, coming at life. You got things that you have you have assets. You have strengths, and you know, I forget that sometimes. I feel like I was stuck in the mode of, you know, starting a company and feeling like you're constantly having to struggle. It's true, you do still constantly struggle, but it's a different way of struggling now because you have time and life and experiences. Also people, also different ways of getting through these problems.
I think like one of the, like I think it's similar to what you mentioned, what Ling said about like you achieve goals and then you kind of tend to at least I have a tendency to minimize whatever I've achieved and like, oh well, it's done. Well, that wasn't all that big a deal. But that's not true at all, right? Even if it's I mean, you spend your life doing something or a significant portion of your life doing something, and you at any stage you've achieved something. And I think it's just it's helped me when I viewed myself through that lens. It just helped me to feel less of a victim and more or less helpless. And I'm like, okay, I have something to back myself up. I have something to stand on. And I just feel more empowered when I think that way. Doesn't always work, but yeah.
But the empowerment is important, right? Because when we have a lack of control, that can really impact our sense of self, our sense of where we are in the world, what we're doing with it, what's our sense of meaning. And if you don't have that, then we get unmoored. So any way of being able to achieve that sense of control. So for example, when Jester helps someone, right, for me personally, I don't know if I'm 100% altruistic. I do volunteering work here and there and whatnot, but part of it is definitely I go in there and I'm like, I could be worse off, and I am suffering from an abundance of whatever it is I'm giving, say time, and I am controlling my life in that I'm giving this time of my own free will, and someone's benefiting from it. Not that I want the thanks, but I am reminded that I am wealthy in some ways, and so that helps me. Not so much necessarily from the goodness of my heart. Hope they're not.
I don't know. For me, it's more that I don't see myself as somebody that has like all these like great ideas of doing something, but I see myself as like somebody that can solve a problem, especially like with engineering skills or like any experience that I have through the PhD or anything. So I feel that that's where, for example, when Imran was saying that I have achieved something, like I got the PhD, like that's a big thing for like 4 years. That was a big part of my life. But I feel that was more useful when I apply something, not even like knowledge, like something that a method or something that during this time that helped that person. So if I apply that to what I'm doing now to help somebody else that has a better idea, then that's what actually helps me. It's like, like it helps me when I supplement somebody's greater goal, right? Which is it's a not a very good balance, because I always, maybe you see that I always need to be attached to somebody else's goal. But I think I'm lucky enough to like be surrounded with people like you all, that you all have like goals and something that you need to achieve, and I can like put this screw there, like, here you go, I helped, and like that helped you, so that's nice.
Just
Go ahead.
Sorry, can I ask if and hypothetical, right? Like, but if you are, like, let's say there's a day where, or a week or a month or whatever, that there's really no one that needs your help or wants your help, or you can really help in any particular way, would that impact how happy you are during that period?
It will impact my my mood for sure. I would feel that I'm like, the fuck am I doing with my life?
Oh wow.
It's sometimes it's the same times where I'm trying to be proactive for myself, so like I start a podcast, or I start writing something, or like I do something, but I don't see that as useful.
Does it have to be someone that is close to you, or let's say you're in a drought, like in a drought of kindness, let's say. All your friends are fine, they're sorted out, they have everything they wish, they have their own house, dogs, I don't know, whatever.
Interesting choice of things to have.
House, dog.
Yeah, would you be weirded out by thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go outside and volunteer to help or something? Or
no, I do that when I can. I volunteer to help. I offer any sort of help I can, even to people that I don't know. That's not.
That's sweet.
Like, I always had we had an argument at some point with one of my friends, because in Greece there are a lot of people that are junkies, right? And these junkies, when they are sane, they are begging on the street to get some money so that they can get their fix later. And in my head, in the beginning, I thought I was like, oh no, like I'm not gonna give you money to go and injure your body. But then I started thinking that if that person does not find the money to get his fix, at some point he will lose control of himself. And then he will find a girl who is half his size and get the money anyway. So in my head, it's better if I give him like the €1 that I have in my pocket at that moment, or anything, so that I'm assisting in that crime of him getting his fix, obviously. But in my head, I'm preventing the bigger crime of him attacking a helpless person and possibly injuring him or her.
Well, that's interesting. I think we could possibly run off on a bit of a tangent. But before we do that, let's get Adi a warm, rousing welcome.
Oh, he's here.
Oh no, wow.
Adi!
30 minutes
Yeah,
late.
come on. Where's Adi?
Wow.
Where's our friend Adi? Let's give him a round of applause.
He's here, but his video is not here.
And he's on mute as well.
He's on mute as well.
He's on
yeah.
mute as well. Yeah.
Almost
He's just trolling us, guys. He's trolling us.
He's always here, though.
Adi.
Yeah.
So I think Jester, when you were talking about that, I guess I've been thinking about volunteering. I am volunteering with the Workers' Party this election. Happy to talk about that. But also like there are many volunteers there who work with them on a constant basis, and I think also in my day to day I do with one of the VWOs, the voluntary welfare organizations, I help out as well. But I think if giving money to the homeless is a kind of a direct aid to them, and yes, you are in a way encouraging the drug industry, which has its own ramifications for down the line. Possibly the best way of doing these things might be to try to help with systemic change.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, if you can find, so for example, like theoretically, if you could get legislation to say provide rehab for the drug people, or to reduce the socioeconomic conditions that lead to this sort of thing, then that leads to the longest lasting change rather than giving money. Not minimizing what you're saying, it's just there are so many ways to help, and in the moment we may not be able to commit so many things. There are other ways you can help, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's giving the kind of publicity to these sort of things, or the support in other ways to people who do have the time and inclination to help.
Yeah.
For sure.
Then,
What I was talking was in a more short-term way, because changing the legislation does not happen overnight.
Yes, but even then, the short-term ways, yeah, you have the immediate need, right, of someone who needs food or shelter or even drugs to get them and out of their withdrawal, whatever it is, and that's helpful. That's always helpful. But I guess considering I like to have a good ROI on what I'm doing, so when I'm volunteering, why did I choose Workers' Party? Just because I think they have the likeliest chance to succeed. They did put me in Marine Parade, but chances are not great, but that wasn't my choice. But I would like. Why didn't I do it with, say, the independent guy running in Pioneer? Because he's not going to get. And I think if we can put our effort where it's likely to make an impact, then that's the thing that helps. Whereas if I help someone and nothing comes of it, then that also, for me personally, that makes me question that impacts my own utility from giving out that help.
Yeah, it's interesting because this very much relates to the effective altruism movement, where you try to look at how can you help in the most effective way, right? That's pretty much what it's about, where you try to be not emotionless, but you try to take less into account emotions, and like, I will support this cause because I like it, but more I will support where my money or where my time can have the most impact, right? So for instance, causes like sponsoring bed nets to prevent malaria in Africa is not a very sexy cause, or many other NGOs who do things like dewormification, etc. Definitely not sexy, but at the end of the day, those are the places where your money has the most impact, right? That's the most life saved. So yeah, it's I don't know though if it contributes to happiness exactly the same way, right? I guess whenever you do good, and that's only your own perceived good, because even if you were to volunteer for an organization that has terrible ethics, but if you're convinced that for you that they're good,
yeah, for sure,
that it will bring you your own happiness, right? So we're slightly on a tangent, but if you're gonna do good, might as well look at where you can do the most good, right? In a way, and so that's the causes and many things. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be too crazy about effective altruism. I think it's extremely important, and I follow those principles. But yeah, if there are causes that you find very important, it's also a good way of choosing where to spend your time and your money, for sure.
Hi, Adi.
Hi, Adi.
Hey guys. Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Sorry.
So I was telling them at the start that today we're talking about happiness. Basically, you guys are the ones that I talked to sometime in, I want to say, April. Is it? What is my note?
Oh yeah.
About how you guys are happy. Some of you very different approaches, ranging from journaling to tarot to helping people to keeping electable. No, I think I might have gotten the wrong message.
Running for president, yeah.
I said something else.
Yes, I feel like I'm conflating things. That's okay. Well, becoming president might make you really happy, so maybe it's more of a long-term thing. You go to Pakistan and say, hey, remember that guy Imran Khan? I'm Imran Khan.
Oh, whoa.
I have a better Imran Khan right here.
Yes, I wouldn't call Osama a martyr. Would you, though? I feel like you wouldn't, but I'm not sure.
Would I what? Sorry?
Call Osama a martyr.
No, my God, no. No.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened. I was like, read the headline, I'm like, do I really need to read the rest of this article?
Like, I mean, I know we're going off on a tangent, but I saw that article on the news, and I'm like, oh my God, like this guy has my name, He says stuff like this, and I'm like, oh God, why are you doing this? But yeah, it's Yeah.
I mean, it could be a porn star. And then when people Google your name, they end up on different types of results. What would you
Wait,
prefer?
are you saying the equivalent of calling Osama
Martyr?
martyr as being a porn star?
No, I'm saying like, what would you prefer when people Google your name? That they find like,
Why are these the only two options, Daniel?
we're talking about, I don't know, potential like choices
To be
that you have
honest,
to make.
I'd prefer it to be a porn star rather than say Osama the Martyr.
Exactly right.
Daniel, can I just say both your options do not bring me happiness? Let me just say that. Okay.
Sorry.
There you go, Daniel. You just made Imran sad.
Oh no.
Like no happiness at all, or like a little bit. One of
No,
them?
no happiness at all across the board. Nothing.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a rough year for an Imran, to be an Imran.
Well, Imran Khan specifically.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in Chicago, I met the Imrana Khan.
Who's that?
She was my classmate, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
I didn't know there was a female like version of your name.
I've never heard the name Imrana before.
Really?
I've
that's
never heard
cute.
the word
Huh.
Imran.
Am I imagining this? This was like 4 years ago.
Did you dream this at some point?
Was she bald, Kim?
It sounds like a wet dream.
If I say anything else, I'm gonna be like,
You're sure she
I'm gonna get
didn't?
cancelled, so I'm not gonna say anything else.
You're sure she didn't say like I'm Rana or something, and then you heard it as Imrana.
I think she's on my Facebook. Let me check.
Nice. I'm Rana, like
I'm Rana.
Rana Khan. Yeah, that could be a cool name.
I forget.
Yeah, I'm Rana Khan.
No, I imagined it. Cool. My life is getting.
And that, I feel like that opens up a whole other bunch of questions in my head.
Well, this afternoon, as I was taking a nap, I dreamt that I was having a conversation with Hazel. The only thing I remember the conversation is that Dream Hazel turned to me and said, well, you're just going to vote for the PAP anyway, right? And then I woke up. And I was like,
And I woke up!
what happened? I was like, what was going on? Why did I wake up? Was that a nightmare? I'm not sure. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I am considering it because Lim Tian is the other guy in Jalan Besar GRC, and voting for him feels bad. But that's just me. So I've been thinking about this.
Really a lot.
Yes, quite a lot. Just like, why? I have one vote every 5 fucking years. One vote, and this is the guy I get.
Normally, you can elect the president as well.
No, we don't.
Sometimes,
Theoretically.
theoretically.
Oh, this is true, so I won't get Pokemon. This is good.
Imran, you can
yes.
name your daughter Imrana.
No, it's fine.
You can make his dream come true.
Well,
I
that's it.
don't want to make that specific dream of him come true. Let me be really clear
Oh
about
yeah, wait, you're not the guy that gets.
Can you
left
imagine
with
telling your
others,
daughter
huh?
you're named after Kim's dream?
I mean, to be completely clear, it wasn't Imrana Khan. It was Imrana Zaman, but it wasn't Imrana. I think the Khan part was probably tacked on later by my wishful thinking memory or something.
Yeah,
Wishful
you can.
I was like, that would be cool, and then it came true.
Sorry. There is an Imran Khan, Vice President of Marketing at Rate Gain.
Oh,
Free
Oh, Rate
publicity
Gain?
for Rate Gain.
Rate Gain is a channel manager for hotels.
Wow.
So yeah, their Vice President is Imran Khan.
Nice.
I might reach out to her. We need to build an API connection to them actually. So
Oh.
Wow. Jester, you just helped Daniel. Well done.
Nice.
thank you very much.
Okay,
and
I'm
I'll
done.
meet
To be-
Imrana and
To be fair, Kim helped Daniel. If Kim had not come up with that name,
True,
Kim would
true.
have searched for it.
No, Kim's not getting credit for this. I'm sorry, but
Thanks for taking it away from me, Adi. Thank you.
I'm just
If
being
it-
fair, man. I'm just being fair.
it would be so funny if you did contact Imran Khan and it's just Imran in a wig. How can I help?
I feel like I'm not being
say that,
helpful, but
I
that's
think all of us
worse.
had pictured that's a good point.
For some reason, is the wig red? I have my head the wig is red. I don't know why.
I think that's you.
You have her LinkedIn profile. Just show us the picture.
That's true.
No, I don't
No,
think.
no, that's fine. I think that's
No,
fine.
no,
It's
no.
okay. There's probably only one Imran Khan at Red Game. I think one of the other things that you guys talked about, or at least someone talked about, I can't remember who it was specifically. I think it was Jester. Was also talking about the people in his life, who made him happier. I think going from one partner to the next seemed to have made a significant difference.
Well,
Sorry,
wait. Going from one partner to nothing was a
Yeah, no,
significant.
please don't clarify. Just let me ask my question because it's funny.
Okay.
Does that mean that whenever he switches a partner, his happiness increases a lot?
Well, no, I
Or is it
think
just in the last scenario.
I think the very specifically the previous partner, and then going to singlehood apparently, which I missed out, and then now with his current partner, I think all these have made like upgrades from one state to the next. And it also helped him like make decisions, in that things that he would have done otherwise, like taking a job on with his ex-supervisor. I don't know what the word is. Ex-supervisor, I guess, his PhD supervisor, which he was tempted to do, which I think, given the amount of complaining he did over the last how many years, I think anyone could have said to him that would not have been a good idea. And yet he was seriously considering that, and he was talked out of it by Elodie, so that seemed to have worked out.
Yeah. I have a boss that actually watches the show. So. My PhD supervisor would not,
yes, right. I was thinking.
my PhD supervisor would not have watched the show for sure.
Oh.
My
Yes.
PhD supervisor, in the first 3 or 4 months that I met him, he was complaining to me because his son was spending a lot of time learning to play jazz drums. And why do we need so many musicians? So, okay.
Hey, my boss didn't know what improv was, so he once asked me. He knew I was interested in theatre, so I told him, "Yeah, I do theatre. I've done improv." He's like, "What's improv?" And I explained to him. So he's like, "Oh, is it rehearsal for your actual play?" No, it's improv.
He's not wrong. It can be.
It can be, but I mean, I don't
I
do
mean,
it as a rehearsal for like
Okay, another
some
way.
ultimate stage production you're gonna do like 5 years down the line.
When I started the company, one of the concerns that my parents had was that I would turn gay.
Sorry?
Yeah, because theatre apparently. I mean, their previous generation, they have a number of interesting misconceptions. There's a lot to unpack there, but I disabused them of the notion. Also, I was with Hazel. I'm like, okay. Also, even if I was gay, would that change anything? But that was a very long conversation we had. And I guess I didn't give a shit because I still did the company anyway.
Did you convince them in the end?
I think they would
did
resign
you-
by the end.
Do they
Did
still
a
have
Resign.
partner
doubts?
turn gay in the
Resign in you potentially becoming gay, or
No,
resign
well-
in
process?
No. That part was easy enough to deal with. More like resign that their son would make decisions that they would consider bad,
okay.
which is still true. Still happening. I said I was volunteering for the Workers' Party, and they were like, "Why? Why? They're gonna come after us."
They're
They
gonna
just-
come after us.
They didn't specify who they were. I don't think they were talking about the Workers' Party.
The
Because we
communists
complain
are gonna
about
come
different
after us.
things.
So you guys laugh, but I think the only Singaporean here is Ling. Are you Singaporean? I don't even know.
I am. Yeah. I actually called my mom last week, and I was telling her that the GE was happening here soon. And I asked out of curiosity, like, if you could vote if you could vote, who would you vote? She was like, PAP. Of course. And I'm like, but why? And she's like, oh, because they've done so much for us, and we should be loyal and stuff. And I'm like, Mom, you left the country when you were 18 and you never returned. How?
They've done so much. The PAP has done so much for us in the Netherlands.
It's like, Mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's.
So, yeah.
from people in this, like 6 people, only Kim can vote here?
No, Ling should be able to vote.
I can vote if I pay, I think.
That's how it
Oh, I
works.
think it's too late now. I mean, you should have done that like in March when they were running the electoral vote roll thing. Never mind. Actually, no. You should have been able to. You should be able to vote because you were overseas, right?
I did not. I've never voted in my life, so.
Yeah. But
I
if you have
did
a
not
good
vote
reason, you
overseas.
can just get reinstated without a
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I will vote because I don't know.
Well, if you got one of these,
I did
then-
not get one of these.
then you're fine.
But I mean, mentally, I am voting.
That-
Yeah. Like,
Whatever
if I
makes you
feel-
happy, Ling. Yeah.
That's not how it works.
And until yesterday, I thought I was living in the East Coast, but apparently I'm not.
No, I'm apparently living in Jalan Besar.
Ah,
Look out my window, I see Jalan Besar apparently, which is great.
well, Tanjung Pagar is not. Tanjung Pagar MRT station is not in Tanjung Pagar, so you know.
Yeah. Yes,
There are many things.
many fun geographical facts about Singapore that come out during the election. Not that gerrymandering is anything they would do, of course. I mean, it's entirely based on population and entirely based on population distribution. Gerrymandering is not really a thing that Singaporean electoral commissions do.
I
They
gotta
report
say,
to the
my
Prime Minister office, so you know they're independent.
Sorry, I get talking about the elections. I was supposed to talk about something else.
happiness.
It does make me happy when I insult
I have
opposition.
a question for Kim.
Yes.
So you spoke with all of us and you wanted to discuss about happiness.
Yes.
Were you unhappy before you had these discussions, and did those discussions help you be happy, or were you happy and it changed the way you were happy? Like, did that affect you? The discussions affect
Oh
you?
no, I mean I can definitively say that I would say up to March, April this year, I would say I was not a happy person. Broadly speaking, you're hitting the phase in life. You're like, what am I doing in my career? Why am I doing this, etc., etc. There were some big changes happening. And then the pandemic hit, and then so Hazel has left the company. So that was, I worked with her for 6 years, so
Yep.
that's a big adjustment. Still adjusting. I had a mini tantrum on Wednesday when I went to clean. I was like, I'm doing it alone, and then I left. And then I was like, man, she didn't deserve that. Because technically she doesn't work for the company, so why would she do it? Why would she clean like the studio, right? So I apologize, but and it was fine because she's understanding and much more mature than I am. But to answer your question, I would say my general happiness has increased, not because my life is necessarily better. I don't think the pandemic is really helping in that regard, but more in that I have more tools and more approaches to the problem of feeling that mental equilibrium and getting in touch with that. So I think I'm a lot more aware of how I'm thinking, what I'm doing. And it was definitely a lot of that was down to, I've done a bit of therapy in the last year, and also that all these conversations with all you guys, understanding different things. No, Hazel, I'm not saying this because you're watching. I'm saying this because it's true.
Hi, Hazel.
Yes, so I have tools now, right? So I think I was familiar with the Stoicism ideas before I talked to Daniel, but that was kind of a reminder. Understand also the journaling thing, the helping people. I think Imran's thing about, he didn't say it to me, he said this about himself, but in that you've done things and you have things that are under your belt that you've already achieved and that belong to you, and you have skills, and you're not just inexperienced, you don't have zero resources, there are things that you can do. Yeah, and all that has helped. The therapy thing did help in the past. I think it's concretizing a little bit, understanding where it's come from, also having some tools to deal with, when your mood is like kind of fluctuating a little bit. Definitely self-awareness has gone up because I guess partly because I've been thinking about it, partly because I have the tools to deal with it. So when I'm feeling like I want to be immature and send an angry message, maybe about, I would say 75% more nowadays, I will take a moment and be like, hang on. The other 25% I still indulge because it's election season, and some people need to be told how dumb they are.
Yeah, but that works, yeah.
Sorry about that, Ling. I think I lashed out at you as well.
That's okay. No, it's okay.
But
I accept that it's a sensitive time for everybody.
Some people are just dumb. Not you, my classmate, my ex-classmate. Really dumb.
Why are you in a group with your ex-classmate though? That's.
Oh, most of the time I don't get involved. So there's this other guy. He's a journalist. He likes putting down. He's very liberal. He puts down stuff, and then all the conservatives get pissed off. So I like watching that. Because I'm not doing it.
Why don't you just get out of this group?
Oh, I
What
like
does it
watching
bring
that.
you?
I really like when he fights people. I'm like, yeah. I think I made a mistake of getting too involved, this week. So.
Daniel, are you like a well-adjusted person or something? What's wrong with you, man? Like, who doesn't stay in groups like this? You live for that kind of drama. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Don't be like a hyper-functional, well-adjusted human being. Don't make us all look bad.
Yeah, man, Jesus. You know, two weeks ago, when they announced the elections are happening, another friend of mine in that group, he got pissed with the same person, and then he was like, and then I privately messaged him and say, hey, bro, chill out, man. You don't have to take it so seriously. And then 1 week later, I'm like, what the fuck? And then he's like, hey, I thought you told me to chill. And I was like, oh yeah, shit. So, maybe Daniel has it right. Maybe I should just leave.
I mean, this could be to say that therapy is not like the solution, but it's like the
it's
way.
part of it.
It's part of it. Yeah.
It points the way. I think you still need to do the work. But yes, to answer, I guess that it is a very long answer to your question, Jester. But it has helped, and it has. I think there have been certain stressful events along the way that I think just keeping calm and understanding, like, I just need to be effective. It's a journey. You just need to get things done, like renewing your lease, or turning up at the fucking den and finding a patch of a colony on the carpet. Like, and then it's fine. You got it done. I did some amateur carpenting today. I fixed the door. Yay. So
Nice.
now it can
Well done.
lock. Yeah, so when I turned up, it couldn't open the door. Because apparently the building has settled. The door
Because
frame
of
has...
the construction next door, or what?
I don't know. I have no idea why. I haven't been here 3 months. The door has shifted and
Oh,
so
wait.
so I couldn't unlock it. The bolt was stuck in the door, so I had to force it open. And then when I tried to leave, I was like, I can't lock. It's because the bolt now is like it's smacking against the door frame. I was like, what is wrong with you? How did this happen? And then Hazel had turned up and she saw me jump on the door and try to kind of had to wrench it back into place. But that apparently is not how doors work.
No.
Is it normal that doors go?
It is a very old building. So I don't know.
In certain Italian cities, it's common.
In certain what?
Italian cities.
In one in particular.
Is that the leaning tower of Pisa, Joe?
Yes.
Is it the
It is.
one with the volcano?
That's why I've missed hanging out with you guys. Like Daniel's dad jokes.
Oh god, dad jokes. My brother's a dad now, and my family chat is just filling with fucking dad jokes. My dad normally has them, but no one responds normally, so he doesn't do it. He's encouraged now, and then they're just trading them in the family chat. I'm just like, no, stop.
I don't understand. It's very weird, right? Because I have a friend. I'm in a group chat with some friends, and one of my friends, he's a dad now, and in the space of like a year, I have seen his humor just shift from, we were all on the same page, and now suddenly he's on dad joke island by himself. And they're like, why are you sending us this stupid things, right? And he's like, oh, I thought you might find it funny. You're like, no, we don't. Like, but he still persists. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what we say. He just, every day, something random. Why?
It could be because he's sleep deprived, like the hours that he is awake, he's just like,
Yeah.
and then he just sends it.
And then kids, they're still developing their sense of humor, so they will say things that are not actually funny, but they think might be, so they're trying it out. And then your dad has, your friend dad has to kind of go like, oh, my kid just said, nose blue, ha ha ha, and he's like,
Dying inside.
yeah, and then after that he turns to the group and like, guys, nose blue, and then you're like, what the fuck? What is wrong with you? Talking about that, it turns out that I also spoke to my brother because he's a few years older than me, and he's more conventionally successful. He followed the whole like scholar route and everything. So I spoke to him also about how because he seems well adjusted, but then I've always thought that of my brother. When you're 1 and someone's 6, you're like, oh, you know so much. I'm 35 now, and he's 40. I still think he knows more than I do. And he was basically talking about how like for him he balances things between things that he has to do or that he sees himself having to do, and then building that structure around that to help that and to mitigate any kind of loss of control, right? So if there are things that he can't control, he still has that structure to fall back on that helps him figure out what he needs to do. And also, we just talked a little bit about personal values and how that ties into his behavior. Well, I think that was something that's key to me as well because, for example, let's say voting for Ling, will I do it? And then I have to weigh my value of, do I value democracy and the voting against the GRC system versus voting against some right-wing populist, and then it becomes a value thing. And if I can figure out which one is more important to me, then I'll know how I'm going to vote. And then I can live with that, even if one of my values is like what the fuck, and the other value is like oh yeah, because either way one of them has to suffer, and if I can figure out, I can live with that. So that's a values thing. I didn't really think about values until I was like in my early 30s. So I was like, what's important to me? What can I live with? Behaving in a certain way, which I guess it's a slightly more like woo version of I won't do anything that won't get me elected as president next time. I think I'm paraphrasing that really badly.
I don't think that's woo woo though. That woo woo, no.
No, woo is like woo, not like woo is like woo. That's
What
a
is
different
woo?
I guess prior to talking to you, I would say tarot is a very woo thing, kind of spirituality in general.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say like values are woo though, per se.
Yes, no, but I guess I'm using it in a very vague term. Like, that's what I mean. It's that it's not really kind of contestable because you can't really pin it down and say, oh, what do you mean? Because I'm very, very vague about it. But there are things that are important to me, like democracy and excuse me, gassy. Some freedom of speech, that kind of thing is important to me. But then so it's not being a right-wing asshole. Helping people, I think that's important. Maybe like in a certain way. I find that it helps me get to grips with how my own privilege and how in a way how good I have some things. In some ways my things aren't wonderful, but I'm very privileged as people go, and helping out, volunteering, that kind of thing really helps me remember that.
Okay.
It's also like helping for me is also like because you guys have helped me a lot the past 4 years, right? It's 5 years now that I've been in Singapore and it's my PhD. How the PhD was a whole bad process for me, but the Improv Company helped me a lot. Like it was an escape for me to like not think of all like the bad things and all the arguments that I was having during my PhD. So that helped me tremendously, even though you did not do it to help me, but it helped me. So it would make me happy if I can do something to help you in return. That's where the happiness stems from, right? Because especially like if I can help somebody that helped me in a way, like or musicians, for example, like I have I am lucky enough to have some money that I can spend and buy this T-shirt. I'll buy a T-shirt because that will help a lot the musician that made this music to make more music or have food.
Yeah.
I think it's something that Relentless 289 said earlier, and that I think it's addressed to you actually, Jester. And that he said, I think it's okay to not be so creative, but if you're invaluable to someone who wants to share a goal with those who are excited about it and those who can help, then that's insanely valuable.
Exactly.
So no, it's not necessarily that we always have to lead something or do something, which I think is something that I've only really started to understand this year. and that you can be a support player and in something, and that can be helpful as well. You can impact things in different ways. It doesn't always have to be your name on the, I don't know, masthead, letterhead.
On the marquee, yeah.
Yes, marquee. Yes, that's the thing. What was I thinking about? God knows. Letterhead. Yeah, so that's definitely part of that. Cool. Adi, yes, I talked to you. I can't remember what you said. Where are my notes? My notes have disappeared. Too many windows open. Yes, hi. Hello, notes. Oh, I think a bunch of you also mentioned the act of creating. I think in particular Adi emphasized this quite a fair bit. Creativity. I think Jester, you mentioned this. I don't think the rest of you didn't really specifically put this out there, I think. But in that, for those who did, it's like the act of creating, creativity did help with your mood regulation.
Yeah, for me, for sure. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a personality trait, because every time I start a new thing, it doesn't take me very long to transition into wanting to do a version of that myself. So if I'm, say, playing the piano, I want to start creating music of my own. I won't spend too much time becoming the perfect pianist that there is, because I mean, there's a lot for me to learn, obviously, in that field as well. But or when I'm dancing, I'm not like trying to be the prima ballerina of some ballet dance company. But for me, it's much more important to like, oh, can I choreograph a dance? Can I create a dance which will, in some way, be new? So I think I very quickly transition into that, and that has essentially become like almost a personality trait. I see myself going through that every single time, and I enjoy it. So it definitely keeps me motivated, keeps me going.
Partly it might be a self-selecting thing, since all of you are improvisers, and that already suggests that you guys gain more from the act of creativity than your average person. Which is why you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
That's how you guys got started. That's why you guys hung around. Because there are plenty of people who either don't get started or they do it and they're like, oh well, it doesn't really bring me that much utility, so I'm just gonna go off and, I don't know, crochet or whatever. I don't know why. Sorry, crocheters out there, any one of you who are listening in, very unlikely because you're not improvising. I don't know why I picked you as a particular thing to hit. Yeah.
Like it's crochet people are like innocent lambs in a field, and then suddenly there's a slap on their face, like fuck you. Out of nowhere.
Shit, you're here too.
Okay. That's been quite a scintillating conversation. Personally, I'm quite engaged with that, and also helped me to just look back at the notes and remember what you guys told me. It's already 10:05, so we're gonna wrap up real soon. Just any final remarks from any of you before we move on to our last portion for today?
I mean, I don't remember that much from our conversations anymore, but I think in the time that we last spoke each other, I found that one of the values that I find very important is to have meaningful conversations with people. And I guess, I'm at a part in my life where I'm hindering myself from having those conversations. So in a way, it's like Jester when he's not able to help people, that he feels a little bit down. But I mean, we all go through ups and downs, I think.
For sure, yeah. And I think it's one of the things that I got from these conversations is that it's it's important to remember what things bring you that joy, and to, in a way, structure that your life so that you are able to get those things in there somewhere. That if you let it slip, then your general mental health will lose a useful tool for it to regulate.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that, improv therapy was also a part of these meaningful conversations in my life, I guess. And it's so sad it's the last episode, but,
Oh, well, I don't think it'll be the last one. So for our audience and also for the players who are here, we'll probably be continuing again at some point once the dust settles from reopening. And then we'll figure out a way to make it... I think one of the things that I would like it to be is a bit more focused. Maybe a specific topic might be helpful. Maybe something else about who we choose at any given time. Up to now, it's basically been, who's available, which is normally how I run shows anyway. But it's if you can figure out something more focused, that would be great. In person, maybe we'll see. We are in talks with a few people. I will get specifically 2 people to possibly do some live streaming in person. So while we can't do shows in person just yet.
Are we talking about, like, you said in talks with some person, like somebody famous, or is it like one of us?
No. Basically, it's a couple of video production people who may be able to help us out.
Okay.
Talks with famous people?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You're like in talk with like Joe Rogan or something, like to do a talk show for Improv Company. I don't know.
Shut up, buddy. Anyway. Yes. So, how about the rest of you? Any other parting comments for these final minutes of Improv Therapy live?
I think I just first of all like to say, Ling, we can still have meaningful conversations. It just doesn't have to be on Twitch. We can have it
for sure.
Yeah. So that can still go on. I think one of the things that really has increased my happiness over the last 5 years has been just, I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but just trying out new things to do. Because you never, it's very, very, I find it very, very rewarding when I find something new that provides me happiness that I had no idea, I wasn't expecting it, had no idea. And I think improv is one of those things that I started out, I tried to do it because it just seemed fun. Like that was just the baseline requirement. And the fact that I'm still here 5 years later means obviously it's brought me a lot of happiness that I'd never expected. So it's great when that happens. It's tough to find, but doesn't mean you should stop looking.
Yeah, for me, it's one of the. I was just watching an episode of Star Trek, and the end of that episode kind of connects with the discussion. Is that a lot of people, I feel like, tend to confuse that being sad in the moment is like, oh, my life is horrible because this sad thing happened to me now. And I feel a lot of times people cannot like differentiate. Is like, it's okay to feel sad in the moment because it kind of shows you, like, differentiates the other moments where you're like happy. Like if all your moments are happy, then nothing has meaning, I guess. So the fact that both things exist in your life, that does not make you that life is sad or life is horrible. It's just that, yeah, it's okay, it's a phase, but are you happy with like fundamental things in your life? Like, are you happy with who you are? Are you happy with the people you're spending your time with? Are you happy with what you're doing? These are the fundamental things that are more important, like keeping your mental health and like being happy in the long run.
What's the difference between happiness and or pleasure and happiness? Or I mean, their state of mind which is longer than just the present, right?
Yeah.
Maybe one thing I'd add is something that might not work for everyone, but might work for some people, which is the mind-body connection, and the fact that sometimes it's also about working on your physical health. By that I mean how you exercise, how you eat, how you treat yourself, right? So your body, the vehicle of your mind, right? That will influence your emotion, and it will influence some other things. So yeah, I mean, don't think it's a recipe that works necessarily for everyone, but something to consider.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys, for spending this last hour with me. We are going to do questions only.
Oh.
So
are we?
Yeah, we are. Alright, let's go.
Can we do answers only?
Who can start? Who wants to start?
Adi, would you like to begin?
Not even at all. Not
Okay, then fuck off.
He lost already.
You lost. Oh wait, I
You
lost.
lose already?
Me too.
Who else is left?
Oh, is this an elimination game?
Where did Healing go?
Has the game
I'm here.
started?
Bye.
Have you never played it before?
Do you think people are enjoying this? Or actually wanted to watch this?
Do you think there's anyone actually watching?
Do you care?
Shh. should we maybe talk about shit.
Am I
So
going
what?
to be? Am I going to be editing this afterwards?
Do you have anything better to do?
Is it not Saturday tomorrow?
Is that another way you can help people?
Fuck you, Daniel.
Hey, and our last questions only succeeded with Daniel winning it for reals. Oh, Imran got real orange all of a sudden.
Oh no. Really excited you won, Daniel.
Also, I think Wait, that was me.
What the hell, man?
Ask to start reading. Okay, cool. So thank you guys very much. Thank you for all your audience. Hi Bhavani, I think you and possibly Hazel, maybe Melvin.
Thank everyone.
Yeah.
Even like I have to say, even like the episodes we're uploading on YouTube, like every time there's like at least 40 people who watch it.
Oh wow,
And
cool.
That's
That's
nice.
a bigger audience than
40 people more than I expected to watch it. So
Nice.
And people will
yes.
watch us also 20 or 30 years in the future. Like, hi everyone, this is the end of Corona confinement and everything.
don't vote for Imran Khan.
Yeah, don't
Hey.
vote for Imran Khan.
Hey,
Yeah, he said Osama's a martyr.
I
Yeah,
didn't. Well, I didn't say that. The
I
other
didn't say
one
you said it.
I
Technically.
didn't say that.
Anyway,
imagine,
so
like, some-
final thank yous real quick. So thank you to Jester first of all for starting this, and also for putting in the extremely hard work of editing our questions only over the many weeks. I think he's probably put in more time than I have, because I just turn up and do it, and then he has to edit it. So thank you very much, Jester.
Yeah, but you turn up
thanks
every
to-
week.
I do. Thank you to Miguel also for organizing and helping out as well. And thank you to our loyal audience. In particular, I think Bhavani, Hazel, and Melvin, you guys I think have been pretty regular tune-ins. So thank you so much. Really appreciate all of you. Dan's opening real soon. Our first class is on Tuesday night. So we'll see you in the flesh real soon. Don't forget to wear your mask and bring your check-in phone thing. Cool. All right, stay healthy, stay safe.
Trace together.
Hopefully, if you guys are unhappy, some of the things we talked about will have helped. If you are happy, you're good, you're fine. Keep doing what you're doing. So thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.
Take care.
Bye.
Alright, where's my stop
Bye.
stream button?